Very good evening to you on this Sunday evening. I'm gonna start straight down to the mat. Sorry I wasn't live last Sunday, but my Lucy and me, we had COVID, so just had to. It was for me. It was very mild. Just headaches and just feeling exhausted really. But for Lucy, hang on. I can hear myself somewhere. There we go. For Lucy, she was a bit more poorly, but we are all good now. So today, I'm gonna go back to the earth colorway because we did the sky the last time we were on, not last week but the week before, and I really would like to do a peyote stitch. Maybe sort of like maybe we do it with a square, but some sort of bell, some sort of beaded bear for this big crystal. And then we could do little version for the little crystals as well for earrings. I think I'm going to use size 11 seed beads, and I want to use some crystals on the side of it. So that's the plan for, that's what I planned for tonight. So do let me know if that's okay with you. And then we can get started. Let me just move things about. We could do some straightforward stringing as well, but I just thought, you know me, I just love stitching my beads together, and I miss one of the little hearts. But there we go, we borrow one from the other color. Oh no, there it is. Good, I'll find it. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna need thread and needle, and we're gonna get started. So I'm going to use these very, very small crystals as well as size 11 seed beads to start with, and then we see how we get on. Do let me know if you have been doing, or what have you been doing from this beautiful bundle. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more as well, and then if you up for it, then do send me a picture or messenger, and I can bring it in and show it to everybody. That would be amazing if you could do that. So just let me know in the chat that you have sent me a picture. Right, very quickly gonna say hello, and then we're gonna get started. Good evening, Tina, Celia, Lucy, Isla, Edward, Julie, Robin. Saying it, great to see you all. Rachel is here, Barbara is here. Hello from Florida. Hello to you as well. Let us know what's the weather like in Florida. It's quite cold, and it's been sunny today here, but it has been really cold. And I think, hi Kitty, great to see you recovered. I'm not fully recovered, but I am much better. Today actually was the first day when I woke up and I was like, yes, I want to get out of bed. Because like all like when you're feeling sick, I suppose that's the thing, that like you get up in the morning and you just like you don't want to get out of bed, you just want to stay in bed. So today was the first day when I'm not gonna overdo it. So after this live, I'm going straight back into bed and trying to have a good night's sleep for tomorrow. So hopefully we will be all on the mend. Lucy did a test today, which came up negative. So if she has a negative test tomorrow as well, then she can go back to school on Tuesday. So that's what's happening at the moment. Right, okay, so I'm gonna thread my needle quickly and we're gonna get started. Let me know if any of you have done, and actually I should grab one quickly. I'm gonna grab a example out of the cupboard for you, because it's a very simple technique, but it's a really good technique. Can I put my hand on one quickly? Oh, there we go. Oh yes, I got two. The rest of them are all added by color, so I just grabbed these two quickly. So this is what I would like to do. So let me know if you've done anything like that before. So we're going to make a peyote bell. It's kind of like herringbone stitch in the corners, and you can do it with 2 colors of seed beads, but it looks really great with 1 color of seed beads as well. And what we're going to do, we're going to have crystals, so I'm not quite sure. We will kind of judge it when we get there, if you want to add the crystals in the middle or if you want to add crystals on the edge. So let's get started, and then we're going to see how we're doing. Barbara is saying it's 50 degrees here. So 50 degrees, is, that's Fahrenheit. So how many Celsius is that? That's about 17, 18 degrees Celsius, I think, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. Somebody Google it, please. Sorry, I still got a cough, so when I need to cough, I'm just gonna mute myself quickly. So, right, let's get started. Oh, Tina's saying, Warrior on Pennsylvania. Ooh, we're very international tonight. Okay, cool. Rachel saying, that's great news about your Lucy, and I'm glad you're mending well as well. I keep adding, Lucy's keep asking for just like orange squash, and I keep putting like teaspoons of vitamin C in there for her. So she has been having a lot of vitamin C to help her recover. Right, okay, so zoom in a bit more. So how are we going to start? When you do any bell like this, you start right in the middle. We're going to start with 4 beads, and then we're going to have corners, and I'm going to tell you where the corners are. And part of it will be peyote, but in some part of it, it's going to be like herringbone stitch, because I'm going to be picking up 2 beads at the same time. Christine is saying hello from the Isle of Wight. Well, hello to you as well. I'm usually saying, hope Lucy gets on a negative test from me too. So she can go back to school, bless her. Right, so I'm only going to do seed beads in the middle. And then because this crystal's pretty much the same size as the seed beads, we will decide if you're going to put it in sort of somewhere in the middle, or if you're going to put it in at the edge. You need vitamin D to stop got mass. Yeah, I'll be taking vitamin D as well. So I'm going to start with 4 seed beads. We're taking vitamin D's as well. All the vitamins you're taking. Right, so I got 4 seed beads on my thread. Excuse my nails. Obviously this week I couldn't get out to have them done. But if everything goes well and Lucy goes back to school on Tuesday, then that will be my first place to go and have my nails done. So I'm going to come through these 4 seed beads again from the other side, from the tail end, and I'm gonna go into the first seed bead one more time. And the reason that, so I can pull it tight, because if there is 4 of them and if I'm trying to pull it tight now, I'm actually pulling them apart. So if I go through that first one more time, when I'm pulling it tight, it's really gonna pull tight together. So from here, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you, those 4 beads are the very 4 beads. Right. Oh, Michelle looked it up. 50 degrees is 10 degrees Celsius. Well, that's probably, I don't know, 5 degrees more than what we have here. So that still sounds better. So we're going to start, that will be right in the middle. That's that middle 4 there. So every single time when we're going to come to sort of the extension, can you, like with this one, because the colors are, the corners are different colors from the peyote stitch. So on this one, well, apart from here at the edge, but here in the middle, if you look at it from above, where you see the darker color seed beads, they are the kind of like the herringbone part of the bell, and where you see the lighter color seed beads, they are the peyote stitch part of the bell. So we're going to start off by, we're going to pick up 2 seed beads. So as I'm coming out of this seed bead right here, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up 2 more seed beads. And then I'm going to go through the next bead. So I'm working myself around. I'm going to go anti-clockwise here and just pull this up. And those 2 just going to sit on top of those 2, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pick up another 2. Let me know if you haven't done a bell like this before, and then follow my thread around and do another one. There we go, and then turn it again, and I'm gonna pick up another 2 and go around the next bead. And finally, for this row, just make sure they're sitting right and they're not twisted. Finally, for this row, I'm going to pick up my last 2. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go through this first bead I need to go through. But at the same time, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. At the same time, I'm going to step up. So I'm going to come through the very first bead of the very first 2 I just added. And I'm going to pull this up nice and tight. So I got more like, kind of like almost like a plus sign. So now for the next row, every single time when we're coming out of these edges, we're going to be adding 2 beads. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm starting a new row now. I'm going to pick up 2 beads and I'm going to follow my thread path around and come down through this bead. And then before I go up onto this corner, I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead, just 1, and then come up. Then I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads and come down through the next bead. So every single time when you pick up 2 seed beads, you're going to come down through the next bead. Then I'm going to pick up 1 bead and go and miss this bead right here and go up through the next corner. So in the first row, you're just adding 2s. In the next row, you're adding 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So I picked up 2, so I'm going through the next bead. Then I'm going to pick up 1 and go up in the next corner. Just like that. And then finally, it's the last side. So again, I'm going to pick up 2. I'm going to come down. And this is sometimes when people can go wrong, that they're not stepping up. So this was my 4th side. I'm going to pick up my last 1 seed bead. And then I need to get to the top here, but I need to come through the one underneath as well, because that's where by completing that row, and then I'm stepping up. Now, a couple of ways how you can make this, I guess, a little bit easier for you is to count your beads out. So on the next row, I'm going to need 2 beads first, then I'm going to need 1 bead twice, because every single row we are stepping up. We're going to need, like, we had 2 1 2 1 2 1 in this row. So in this row we're going to need 2 1 1 2 1 1. So every single row we're moving up, we're going to need the 1 seed bead one more time, and you can just going to see it once in a sec. Let me just move this. So I just pop those seed beads there. Let me just move this a little bit so you can see them there. So I'm going to pick up the 2 seed beads, and you obviously need 4 piles of that because you're going to be, you got 4 sides. So I picked up 2, so I know I need to come through the next bead. I'm not missing any. And now the gap between this corner and this corner is bigger here. So I actually got 2 gaps to fill. So that's why we're going to add 2 beads in. So I'm going to pick up 1. I'm coming out of this bead here. I'm going to miss this one and go into the next. And then pull this up. And then I'm going to pick up another single one and go to my corner. And just turn. Once you have done a few rows, it's going to start to buckle naturally on itself, which is what we want it to do. So I'm picking up 2 because I'm on the corner. Maybe I should have done it with the crystals in the corners. Maybe we try that in a sec as well, so you can see it better. And then I got 2 times single beads to add. Elizabeth is asking what is being made. So we're going to do a peyote stitch bale. Like, it's a square peyote stitch bale for our... I got a knot on there. That's why. Hold on 1 sec. That's why we're going to do one of these, but we're going to do them all in one color for the pendant in the bundle. Kelly's here. Hi, Kelly. I just got a major knot on my thread, so very quickly going to unpack it. So if you don't know how to unpick a knot easily, then I'm going to show it to you. So usually people, when they get knots, they start to pull and push them, and sometimes they just tighten even more. So the best thing to do is to take 1 needle and stick it right into the knot. Just go into the knot, and then instead of trying to pulling, I mean, it might come apart if you pull the right strings, which is this one just came out. But instead of just trying to pull the strings, I take another needle, stick it into the other side of the knot and pull it apart like that. because it will be easier not to. This looks like, is it double knotted? There we go. So stuck in one way, and then I'm pulling through from the other way to come apart, and I think we are good. There we go. So we got rid of our knot. So getting rid of knots, you need 2 needles. Helen is saying, I have just sent you a picture of my heart, which I started a couple of weeks ago, and we have great minds. Bless you. I'll look for it just in a sec, and then we'll bring it in. Yeah, I can see. I'm gonna have to save it and then bring it in. Oh, she's doing exactly the same thing what I'm doing. Clever girl. This is the thing. Like we don't even know, but we give so much inspiration for each other. Like, and we do think the same things, because I guess there's nothing new under the sun. So can you see already? We haven't even finished this row, but it's starting to kind of like buckle a little bit. If I show it to you from that side, and as we bead more and more, it's gonna kind of like turn on itself, because we're forcing more beads in sort of the straight part of our square than the pattern can really handle, and it folds on itself. So this is the last side for this row. So I'm just adding my 2 single seed beads. I need to go through that one and stepping up. And then for the next row, I'm just going to pop it down for a second so you can see it better. So the next row, we have to add 2 corner beads, and then we got 1, 2, 3 gaps. Can you see? So it's going to be 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. So every single row, as we grow, we always add 1 more in the in between the corners. So I'm just adding 2, and then I'm going to add 3 times 1, and I'll bring your picture in just in a sec. I don't know how big you want to or want to make this. There is depending, like if I was just making it for the small one, I probably would stop with this row, which I'm just one bead. I picked up 2 bead. I would stop with this one, just what I'm making with this row, and I'll bring the little pendant in just in a sec. And that would make like, either make a little cute pendant, or it would make it for earrings. But then if you do the same bell for the pendant, the large pendant, and then you add this decoration on the top of the earrings, then you got a set, which is like, sometimes is so elegant to wear, to be able to wear like a pendant, earrings, and together. I really love, like, if you know if you go out or do anything, you just have to go out, I guess. But I quite sometimes like to wear a set. I don't wear a lot of necklaces, and I'm more like earrings and bracelet. But if you go somewhere, it's just nice to wear a set. It just really makes it nice. Good evening, Linda. Hope you're okay. So I'm just gonna, I think I've got one more side to do, and then we're gonna try it on the little one and then see, because then there we know how big do you will need to make for the little one, the little heart pendant. And then actually, depending on how much do we want, how many crystals do we want to add on. So the last one, not this one more bead, and that was the last one for this row. So remember, like, this is where people make mistakes, that when they're adding the last bead into that row, that they don't go through the bead before, they just go through the last bead, and then you kind of like lose your stepping up place. So I'm just going to go through this one to complete that row, and the very end one as well. So there we go. With that, this row is completed. Let me just tighten up the middle, and it's going over, folding over by itself. So if I just wanted to add into a little crystal for an earring, yeah, I wouldn't do any more. There's actually room underneath it as well if you wanted to have it as a pendant, a little cutie. That would be enough. Maybe one more row if you got a bit chunkier necklaces, but or maybe just a decoration row with the crystals on it. I think that would look really cute on the side. And then for the bigger one, we're gonna have to do, I reckon, maybe 2 or 3 rows more, and then we're gonna add the crystals on the side. How does that sound? Kelly's saying, I just made some polymer clay earrings in my members only stream. It was a lot of fun. I am in jewellery mode now. Oh, bless you. But you're in the right place then, lovely. We're doing that's what we're doing tonight. I love working with polymer clay. It's I'm not really good at it because I'm not really good at forming things, but I really do love it. Right, so I'm at the corner and I'm kind of going to hold it folded over now. So now I need to add 2, and then this row, the last row we added 3 single ones. Now we're going to add 4 single ones. We got space for 4 single beads, and so on, as we're getting bigger and bigger with each row, the corners staying exactly the same, but the number of single beads are always going up by 1. The crystals on the side looks good, Rachel is saying. Let me just grab Helen's picture quickly. Can I just pull this out from here? No, we're gonna have to download it. And then go to downloads, folder, and then grab it out from there. I have to grab it out, put it on the desktop, and then pull it in. It's thinking about it. I think it's gonna put it in. There we go. I think that looks really, really nice. So that's the other heart pendant we have. Actually, we could put it on that one. Probably don't need that many rows for that one, maybe a couple more rows, but I really love that shape of heart as well. Lady Penny's asking, are you feeling better? Yes, I am feeling better. I was just saying earlier that today was the first day that I woke up and I was like, you know, when you're not feeling so well and you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed, and today was the day I was like, yeah, and actually I want to get out of bed and I want to get on with things and do things. So my energy is slowly coming back. But I do feel tired now. I felt better in the morning. I have to say that. So after the stream, I think I'm gonna go and go back to bed and just I think in the next couple of weeks I just need to take it easy, and then we will be fine. I'll keep taking loads of vitamins, and so I'll be good. Right, okay, so I'm gonna run around with this row, and then we see we could add it on that pendant because you got this pendant as well in the kit, and that would look like, I really like the shape of this one. But yeah, build up slowly, absolutely, definitely. Don't overdo it. No, I'm planning not to overdo it. Planning to try to take it easy. Like I think, like, you know, we talked about this last year. The us crafters are so naughty because it's like, for me, there is so many. I'm just gonna do one more row, and before you know it, it's 11 o'clock p.m. and then you say to yourself, oh, I'm just gonna do one more row and then I'm going to bed, and before you know it, it's 1 a.m. and then you're absolutely tired. And like with me, well, at the moment, obviously, like Lucy was home, I didn't have to get up with her. But for me, I'm not an early riser usually, and I have to get up when I have to get up with her at 6 a.m. I can't then have late nights, if that makes sense. But you're still like there and wanting to do it because you just want to finish the project, or you just want to do one more row, I guess. So it's hard, but I really have to be. I think I'm gonna have to work out what's the kind of like, what did I say, the sweet spot, the maybe I did say before, like 10 p.m. That's it. I'm going upstairs. I'm getting ready for bed and I'm going to bed. But I really have to be regimental with it, and I really have to kind of like follow it through. That makes sense. Right, I am around, done, just finished this row. Let's just double check it. So which pendant shall we put you on? Shall we put you on this curved heart or the straight heart? We're gonna have to do more rows for this one, or shall we do on this one? So curve or straight, because they're both hearts. I'm going to say like heart or heart. Heart number 1 or heart number 2, curve or straight. Let me know in the chat which one shall we put on. Either way, I'm going to have to add another row, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding the next row. End up Lucy's saying, or Kelly's saying curved. Lucy's saying I end up sitting up until 3 o'clock beading. Curved. Ruth is saying, Lucy's saying curved. I think we're going to have to put it on the curved one. I'm going to add one more row. Or do we need one more row for that? Because don't forget, I want to add on I don't want to make it too big, and I really want to add on the crystals. And with the crystals, I think we're going to have to do 2 rows. So maybe it's crystal next. I'm gonna, sorry, you can't ascend. Let me just move it over a little bit. With the crystals, we're going to have to add 2 rows. So then again, that's going to make it bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the crystals now then. Ruth saying I did a natural ring at 3 a.m. Oh, bless you. That is late. For me, like the biggest, I suppose, for me, the biggest problem is like if I sit down, like, I don't know, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and I start to do some beading, and if I put something on, which is like not a movie, but it's like maybe a season of something, and if I put that on, I've been watching Losing Atlas on Apple TV the other night, and if I put something like that on, and if I get into it, then I kind of like feel like I have to, like you know, you just want to watch one more episode. You just want to watch one more episode with that one as well, and then you are up until 3 o'clock. Right, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing what I would be doing with seed beads, but this time I'm just going to use the crystals. They are very similar in size, slightly a little bit different, slightly a little bit bigger, but they will fit in. Can you see? They're not that much between them. So we're just going to put the crystals in. I'm going to put 1 row in, and then we're going to go ahead and see what is it going to look like. But it just gives you the delicate edge. Says me, and I get, have I got a knot? No, good. Says me and I get a knot on my thread straight away. But it just gives you that nice, delicate, sparkly edge, that little detail. Now this could be, we got little pearls as well. Have we got little pearls in this one? Yes, we have. We could have added little pearls or anything. Or we could have crystals and then add some pearls on the side. So you have some seed beads, but you do add some more like sort of sparkling or different elements into it, and I think that makes it look really good. So I'm running around. I just done 1 side. I need to do 3 more. Angela is saying, just have to go and rescue my bin. It's a little fierce out there and wet. Oh, you mean windy? Yeah, he's quite windy. It was really windy last night here. But I don't think anything blown away. So far so good here. Hopefully don't get too much stormy weather. Usually when we have like a mild December, which we did have, you buy for it in February. But hopefully we're not gonna get too cold. I don't really want too cold this winter. I'm looking forward to the summer already. We had Christmas. That was something to look forward to. I guess we got Easter, but I'm looking forward to the summer. So we can just go and sit on the beach, and you can bead on the beach. Well, I do. So I'm just working my way around. I'm doing the same thing. So on the sides, I'm adding just 1, and when I get to the corners, I add 2 crystal. Sheila's saying, a little late joining it. Had the Abigail today. Oh, bless you. You're here now. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I am like tomorrow. I really need to go for a walk because I haven't been out of the house since Friday, not this Friday, the Friday before. So I really need to. I want to go for a walk. I've been to the garden, our garden. That's about it. For fresh air. I had to go to the garage to get some stuff from the freezer. So it'd be nice. What's going on with you, Thread, tonight? Are you playing with me? There we go. So, if anybody else has got any other picture, please send it to me if you've been playing with our Creation Station pack so I can show it to everybody. It doesn't matter if it wasn't the same thing, anything, because it always gives other people ideas what to do with the beads. Right, come on. I'm gonna. So if this happens that your thread is keep kind of like wanting to knot and wanting to knot, what you need to do, I'm gonna pop onto the main screen. What you need to do is to hold your thread up just right underneath the needle, and then with your other hand take it kind of like down, and then with your finger and thumb just pull it down. And if I pull this up, you're gonna see this is spinning around because I'm just cut that thread. Don't need that much because the thread was twisted. So I'm going to do this a couple of times. Hold it up and just pull that one up, and we can see it's all twisting out. And now still twisting. There we go, a few more. And now our thread is straighter, so it's got less chance to really knot up. So that's usually a really good sort of little trick to do if your thread is keep knotting or wanting to knot up. I almost picked up a seed bead instead of a crystal. I'm almost all the way around. I've got to one more side. Lorna sent me some photos. I'm just gonna see and bring those in just in a second. She's been busy. She's done the embellished one of the little charms. Bring that in. Let me just finish this row here, and then we're just gonna put it over the crystal, and we're just gonna have a look. What does it look like? It's always like often when you're designing anything or doing anything, it's always often just do a row, stop and have a look, and then do another row and stop and have a look. And sometimes you have a look and you're like, oh, I'm not sure. Sometimes you haven't done enough, so you might need to do another couple of rows to kind of like get the feel for the pattern or the sort of technique or stitch what you are doing. Right, coming through the last one, and then I'm going to step into the crystal. There we go. Right, I think that looks quite nice, and that's going to go, oops, I'll move the camera, and that's going to go into our crystal. Shall we add another row of crystals in, or shall we leave it just like that? So if I added another one in, that they would sit kind of like in there, or are we going to leave it just with one crystal? I'm not sure. I think it looks quite nice just with one crystal, because if we add another one in, then well, it's just going to be like the strand of crystal. So let me just pop this in this side. So if you add another one in, it's not going to be quite that straight because obviously doing peyote stitch, but it's going to be more like that. So are we adding another row, or are we going to leave it like that? Rachel is saying, I like how it is. So what shall we do? Let me know in the chat. Are we leaving it straight, or are we gonna are we adding another row to be more sort of a straighter crystal row, or are we going to leave it like that, kind of like Pico? Lucy's saying, I like as it is. Ruth is saying, as it is, very pretty, just like that. Michelle's saying, oh, I just held it up when mine twisted. I will try running my hand over it next time. Yeah, try that. It usually gets you out of a lot of trouble. It gets you out of a lot of knots. So I do get knots, but I do that. Like every project I do, every so often I stop and let it untwist, because it's not just like every single time when you're pulling the needle through, but as I'm pulling the needle through, sometimes I'm twisting the needle as well, which then keeps twisting the thread as well. Angela is saying the wind outside will blow all the cobwebs away. Oh bless, that's a good way to look at it. Danny is saying, I like how it is. Yeah, okay, so then in that case, we're gonna have to either weave our thread around, or if you're I guess if your pendant, your beadwork is quite big at this point, you wouldn't be able to do it. But because we are very small, I want the tail to stick out at the top because we want to be able to work that up. But like, you know, I could run around right down here. But other thing, what you can do, you can just fold it. So I'm gonna pull the, because I want the tail sticking out to the top. I don't want it underneath it. So I can pull the two sides up and then pull the front down, and all of a sudden I am in the right position to go through the hole on my I think because it's coming down to 2 beads, I do want to add 1 bead just there going into the hole. Now it doesn't have to be a seed bead, or maybe it could be a size 8 seed beads because it's the same color in the kit, or a pearl. Maybe we add a size 8 seed bead there, just to be slightly different. What do we think? I think that would look cute. Size 8, and then we can come backwards and forwards a couple of times, I guess. But then we could just use a size 11 and be more pointy. So do we want to be more pointy with a size 11, or do you want to use a size 8? Let's try the size 11. We still will be able to go through quite a few times. So I just picked up a size 11. I'm going to go through the hole on this pendant, turn around, pick up another size 11, and then I'm going to hold on to the tail here. And then I'm going to, as I'm coming out of one side, I'm going to turn my pendant around as well. It doesn't matter which crystal you're going in through. I'm going to go up into the crystal, into the seed bead above it, because you're going to have to turn our thread path around. And I'm going to pull this up. Let that twist the right way. So what we need to do next is we need to turn our thread path around. So I don't really want to, I could just go down through that size 11, but if I did that, I would be, can you see like these size 11s in sort of like an angle? If I would just create a thread path here where there isn't, that would pull those two size 11 straight, and I don't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up the next size 11 and up the next size 11 here, and I'm going to cross over here because these two, they kind of sit straight together. So if I create a thread path just here, it's not going to move the beads at all. They're still going to be sitting in the same direction. Right, let's just pull this nice and tight. There we go. So I'm going up the next couple of seed beads, and then, I mean, you could just run down the side of your pendant again to the other side, but sometimes it's just easier to turn around. So I'm going to come down through the bead next door and then up, because now the thread path between these two beads here in the middle is at the bottom, so I'm at the right place. So I can go up through that bead, and then I'm going to come down to these beads to get to the bottom. So I'm going to turn this around, and then Gonna come down that seed bead. It doesn't matter if you go into the seed bead underneath it, if you go into the crystal, as long as you get to the very bottom. The crystal, I'm gonna go to the crystal. And I'm gonna create a knot. Then the seed bead. Then the crystal underneath it. Then coming through the seed bead. And then into the hole of the crystal. So I'm turning my pendant around, coming out on the other side. And can you see we need to go up through that seed bead? And because it's kind of like sitting to one side, we need to go up through the other side as well. Just like that. And when I pull this up, nice and tight, that seed bead gonna come and sit in the middle. So all is left to do is weave your thread in the middle to the top and knot your tail end and your working thread together. However, if you want to, you could turn around and come back through the seed bead, the crystal other side, and sort of go backwards and forwards a couple of times to really make it like sit nice and really to strengthen the thread on there. So I'm just gonna get these pictures what Lorna sent in. Just give me 1 second so I can show it to you. Where is my downloads folder gone? There we go. One. So Lorna's been playing with this necklace. I really love how using those little tiny beautiful hearts. And Lorna did put a little bit of base fabric and stitch with that one with the pendant we made. So this is from the front. I'm gonna pull this in. Can I make it bigger? So this is what it looks like at the front. And I'm gonna bring in the back. This is what it looks like on the back. So she added a tiny little base fabric on the top of it and is stitched to that one rather than just the whole of the beads. That's a good technique too. And then you could cover it with something else as well if you wanted to. That's really beautiful, Lorna. Well done, lovely. Right, okay, so I'm going to turn back around, and I'm just going to turn back around in this crystal. Usually I wouldn't advise to turn around the crystal because the crystals can have a sharp edge by the hole, which then can cut the thread. I'm just very quickly want to turn around and then get to the top. And there we go. And I'm going to go up any bead. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to get to the top. So I want my tail end and my working thread right next to each other. So I'm just going to go up through all of these corner beads I have here, right to the top. And I said, you know, if you read your thread, you're not going to get any knots. And I just got a knot. How annoying is that? Right, we are right to the top. So one of them is coming out of that bead just there. The other one is just a bead next to it. And I'm going to pull on my tail to tidy and tighten up that middle four. And then I'm just going to knot them together. And after you knot them, never ever cut your thread right next to the knot, because if you cut it next to the knot, what can happen is the knot can come undone. So once you knotted it, and just knotted a couple of times, what I usually do is just take my thread through any of the beads. So I'm just going to take it through these beads towards the outer edge, pull my thread through. And then I'm going to have to add another thread. I don't know what's going on with this thread, but we will pull it through. Come on. And then I got my, so I'm going to hold on to the end, and there we go. And then I would put, there we go. I would put my needle into my tail end. I'm just going to trim this and take the tail thread through a few beads as well. A little bit of fat on the back, Lorna is saying. That's what she put on the back of the heart. Sorry, I need to. The back of the little charm. Right, okay, so I'm very quickly gonna thread this and pull that tail through a few beads as well, so it's done and dusted, and then it's ready. Otherwise, sometimes when I put it to the side, I forget about it. Just gonna make sure that if I can thread my needle, that is, I want to make sure that my tail is pulled in as well. Because if I put it on the side and if the knot then went into the bead, then I'm looking at it and I'm not sure if it's right next to the knot or not next to the knot. So just following it through quickly. Right, so this one of the thread we taken into this direction. So the other thread, I'm going to come into this bead and I'm going to take the tail end to the other direction. So I just turn the pendant around and I'm going to go through these beads. So I'm not taking both of them to the same beads. And I'm going to trim this. There we go. And we have got our pendant with a beautiful little bell. Now, if you like Varen chatting and Varen showing it to you, probably this would take maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops, not even that, to make up. And it just makes the whole pendant a little bit more, kind of like a delicate, a little bit more, gives a bit more of a design element to it. So I really love these ones. And if you want to make a bigger one, all you do, you just carry on and go and do more rows. I'm just going to put this underneath it. So can you see like how well would that look on there as well? Now for earrings, we could make little tiny ones, or we could make different bells as well. So I am going to put this to what sort of other beaded bell shall we try to make? You tell me a technique and then we will work something out so we can put some beads or little decoration on the top of our little ones. There's all sorts of different things we could do. We could do herringbone stitch, a 2-row herringbone stitch. We could do right angle weave. That would look quite nice as well. We could do, because we have 2, 4 and 6 mil pearls in the kit as well, we could do a right angle weave. And is the 6 mil bin? Let me just get a few 1 6 mil. We could do like sort of right angle weave, 4 mil at the bottom and then 6 mil at the very top. We could do something like that as well. I just dropped some pearls. We could do all sorts of different things. So what do you think? Let me know in the chat what sort of bale. Oh, you can't see it. I moved the thing, didn't I? There we go. So we could have a 4 mil pearl at the bottom, and then with the right angle weave add a 6 mil pearl at the top, and then 4 mil pearl at the back as well. So you got that lovely loop with it. So we could do something like that. We could even add the 2 mil in, but I think that might perhaps be a bit too long of a bale. But I think those two would work well. I would probably put the seed bead in, and then kind of like, and maybe add a smaller rand at the top and the larger rand of, or even we could have it like this. So we have 4 mil at the bottom, and as we're going up, have 2 more 4 mils there, and the 6 mil at the top. That would make a really pretty bell as well, obviously with seed beads in between. Cindy's saying, I love the row with the pearls. Yeah, let's try that. Cute little heart. Yeah, this could work with a bigger heart as well, so we could go up even more in size or do more, add more to it. Right, I'm threading my needle, and shall we start? So I'm gonna come and I'm gonna pick up 3 seed beads and a small pearl. Let's just use size 11. 1, 2, 3, and one of the pearls. I'm gonna need more small pearls. There we go. And then I'm gonna turn this into a little, I'm gonna go through them again to form a little circle. Lorna is saying, I like that. And now, as I'm maybe, no, I don't think we'll need more, because from this very bottom seed bead, we're gonna go through, actually let's go to the first 2 seed beads again. And we could straight secure it on it. So do we need another seed bead to go through? Let me just pull this up. Will we need more? I think we're gonna need more seed beads at the bottom there. I'm gonna leave this as it is. I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna come around until I'm coming out of the pearl itself. Perhaps, because I'm just looking at from above, can you see how much of the thread we can see here? So perhaps 3 seed beads is not enough to start with. We need to start with 5. But I'm just going to continue and see. We can always tweak and make another one. But that's how, kind of like when you're designing anything, that's how you're going to go about it. You just sit there and you look at it and you say, well, actually, it would look nicer if I had another 1 or 2 seed beads on it. So I'm going to pick up a seed bead, another 4 mil pearl, another seed bead, the 6 mil pearl, another seed bead, and the 4 mil pearl, and another seed bead. And I'm going to come through this pearl here from the other side. So I'm creating the second loop, which is going to be the top of our bell. We're going to have to come down on the sides to straighten all this up just in a sec. And then now I'm going to take my thread all the way up to the, so I'm coming out of that pearl, and then we're going to repeat going down inside size on the other side. So I'm going to go all the way to the top. There we go. Seed bead, pearl, seed bead, and then through the pearl, and I'm going to pick up a seed bead. Where is my little pearls? I'm going to pick up a seed bead, pearl, seed bead, pearl, 4 millimeter pearl. There were 4 millimeter pearls on this side now. Seed bead, pearl, and seed bead. So I got 4 seed beads and 3 pearls. And then I'm going to come through the 6 mil pearl again. And now I'm going to weave my thread down to the bottom here. I'm going to mirror it. I'm only going to pick up 3. And then we see what we can do about it. Because sometimes when you start, like, even though you kind of like see at the beginning that perhaps I should have added an extra bead, but when you're coming to close it up, you might not need those extra beads. Just playing. It's like Christopher playing with Lego. So I'm going to come down to the middle seed bead, and I'm going to add another 4. No, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come through the next 2. So I'm coming out of the middle. Then I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads. I'm going to go through the hole on the crystal, just like that. Then I'm going to pick up another 2 seed beads. And then I'm going to go through, I'm going to go through the middle seed bead on the other side. How shall I hold it so you can see it? I'm going to go through the middle seed bead on this side. There we go. Then I'm going to pick up, when I'm pulling this up, it's kind of like pulling it over the top of it. Then, oh, I think this is going to be pretty. I'm going to pick up another 1 seed bead. I'm going to skip this one and just go through the seed bead which is closest to the heart and the heart. And then I'm coming out on the other side. Pull this up a bit more tighter. Then from here, I'm going to come up through the first seed bead. And I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead. So just coming through that first seed bead. Pulling it tight, and I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead. Now I need to go through this middle seed bead again, but you can see it has got a thread from on one side. Let me just pop it down. It has got a thread on one side already, so I want to come from the other side, so I even the seed bead out, and that's going to sit in the middle just like that. I think that looks rather pretty, but not pretty enough yet. I'm going to say it. So what we're going to do next, we're going to turn ourselves around. So I'm going to go down into this seed bead, come up on this side, and we're going to pick up a seed bead here, a seed bead here, and continue down all the side, and just going to add seed beads into the gaps here and at the top as well, and the same on the other side to straighten the whole little bale up. So I'm gonna come down 1 seed, or you could go, I guess, towards the other side as well. Go through the whole of the crystal. So I'm gonna go up on this side, and then we're gonna add single seed bead. So I'm gonna pick up 1 seed bead, then go through this one right here. I'm going to pick up another seed bead, go through the one before the pearl and one after the pearl, and I'm going to pick up another seed bead, go into the seed bead, pearl, seed bead on the other side, and pull this up on that tail, and I'm going to pick up another seed bead, come down through this one which is just by my tail, and then pick up another little seed bead. This is going to look really cute, and go through this one towards the bottom. I'm not going to go through the one, and I'm going to turn back, but I just kind of like, I need to fill up the other side as well. So what do we think? Do we need this filler bead? Ooh, I'm tempted to take these seed beads off and add in crystals. Oh, that would look really good. Always thinking afterwards, we could have added these crystals in. So what shall I do? Shall I take the seed beads back and add crystals in? Do let me know in the comment. I really want to add the crystals. I have to say that. So Lucy's saying it looks nice, but shall we take the seed beads off, and instead of the seed beads add these small crystals in, because I think that would look amazing. Do let me know in the chat, what would you like me to? Ruth, thank you. Ruth is saying crystals. Thank you so much. I think I might just do that. Lucy's saying crystals as well. So I'm going to go and take those seed beads off and add crystals in. The crystals were right in front of me. Why did I not think of them? Silly me. Right, let's just take these seed beads off. Bye bye seed beads. We want pretty crystals. Thank you. It's only just a few, but just by adding a few crystals, it really makes something plain a little bit more sparkly, I guess. Oh, I'm gonna have to thread my needle again. buried, buried color, as they say. Lorna is saying it looks very regal. Crystal would be good too. I'm going to do the crystals, Lorna, 100%. Let's do the crystals. So I think, and like you see how easy it was, because it was just a little bit of right angle weave. Just a tiny bit of right angle weave coming through. I think the eye on this needle is gone. I think that's what's happened. Let's just get a fresh needle. It was so easy to do. And it's just what makes it, I think, look good is using different size of pearls. So by adding that 1 6-meter pearl in the middle, oh, that could be a crystal though. 1 6-meter pearl in the middle. That could be a crystal there, right? Okay, so instead of seed beads, I'm gonna add the crystals in, and let's see what happens. So again, I'm just gonna pick up a crystal and go through the seed bead above, and then a seed bead, pearl, seed bead. Oh, I think I'm liking it already. It just really makes it a little sparkly. Right, so what I was thinking, because obviously last week I wasn't able to do the creation station, and next week is February, and we did say that we're going to do something with tiger eye, but I haven't been in the warehouse to sort anything out or look at anything. So I have decided to keep this bundle going for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to kind of split February in the middle. And we're going to use the first 2 weeks, we're going to keep using this bundle. And the 2 weeks after that, we change the new bundle, and then we carry on and use that in March as well. January, February, March, yeah, March. And then we do something different in April. How about that? Let me know in the chat if that's okay with you. And then I will include some tiger eye in there, but then I can also include some stuff we can make, perhaps some flowers or something else for March, or perhaps maybe Easter theme. I don't know. I'll have a look. I think we made a list of it. In the somewhere. Did you write it down? But we're talking some, just coming back on the other side, adding those crystals in between the seed beads, filling those gaps. Almost down to the bottom. I need to add 2 more. I think this is going to look really cute. I mean, even if it's an earring or as a pendant, a small pendant, this is going to look really cute. Right, I'm just going to go through that one, and I'm going to pop it down and show you. I think it's going to look fantastic once it's... There we go. Let me just get something. What can I put through it? How big? I can put a pencil through it. It's quite big. So just got this pencil here. I'm going to add it onto the pencil so you can see it more as a pendant if it was a necklace. I think that looks really good because you got those crystals at the top, a little bit of a detail. You got the same as the back on the front. So I don't know about you, but I love pendants which are same on the back and the front as well, because you know me, like, I put it on, and it's not like I don't pay attention, but you do it automatically. You put it on, and I run out the door, and it's not until, like, I don't know, half an hour later I look down and the pendant is actually back to front. So I love doing things like that because it doesn't matter if you put it back to front. Lucy saying sounds good to me. Yeah, cool. We're gonna continue with this bundle for the next 2 weeks then. Lucy saying I love that. Saying good for carrying on for another 2 weeks. Cool. Okay, so what shall we do next? This would be nice as an earring. I would definitely wear it as an earring. I would wear it as a pendant as well. Right, let's see what else we can. We got a larger bead. I'm just thinking, we got the 8mm bead, and we got crystals as well. So we could like larger crystals. So we could do for the larger pendant, we could do all sorts of different things as well. Right, okay. So let's just do one more thing. And what shall we do? We haven't even used these cat's eye ones. We need to do something. We need to do some little earrings or something with little cat's eye ones as well, or necklace. Could do bracelet. What shall we use next? Let me know in the chat. What shall we use next? I don't want to go into something very complicated now, but something easy. Let me know in the chat. What shall we do? What we're gonna do next? I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit on this one. What shall we, I love this one. I really do love this bill. I think it's gonna be good. I'm gonna look for stuff now. I'm gonna go in the warehouse and I'm gonna look for stuff. But what can we make this bale for? I'm gonna look in all around in the stashes what I can use the bale for. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna run around. I'm gonna knot my tail end and my working end together to secure it, and then take it through a few beads so I can cut it off. But what shall we work next? Let me know in the chat. So we got crystal. If you got the bundle in front of you, or I'll show you just in a sec. What shall we pick up and have a play with? Just coming through there, and then I'm gonna knot my tail end and I'm working a window hanging with a copper heart. What sort of window hanging would you like to do? We might need, with a window hanging, I'm not sure if I got any memory wire here, because I think that would look really good to do maybe like a little bit of a beaded middle, or we do have the rat tail in there. Macrame. Yeah, let's do a bit of macrame. I quite like to do like a twisted macrame, because a lot of people do like the square knot, and when you do the square knot, obviously if you do it from one side and then you start from the other side, you create a flat square. But if you keep doing it from one side, it keeps twist around. So maybe we have a little go of that one. Right, let me just pull this thread through a few beads as well, so then this thread is worked off, and then we have a little macrame. Maybe we could do it on that one, but too, because we got all these crystals and everything else, what we can think about, like how we can dress it up a bit more. So okay, we're gonna do a macrame strand to add it on, but wouldn't be nice to have something where maybe some crystals hanging down somewhere, somebody. So let me just cut this off. I love that. Two little pendants, look, they're little cuties tonight. Let me just have a look what we got here. So we could use the large pendant. We could use, if we used one of these, I think this would look really good. So we could macrame into two direction. And then because this one has got holes at the bottom, we could add a few crystals on a macrame strand. So you got like kind of like a tassel going on. We also have this heart, but I think this one is just a tinge a bit too small. You could use it with this one and have a few things at the bottom. And we also have this heart. I think because this one is a puff heart, this one is sort of raised up as well. So if you look at it from the side, it's raised up as well. But this one, if you put the macrame, well, maybe it could work. Macrame is a bottom, because you could do loads in there, loads of things hanging down. So that could work as well. Any of those would work. This one is not really. Those ones, the small ones, we used a couple of weeks ago. So which heart? I think these and these are quite small. So let's pop them to the side. Let's try with this one. Let's try with this one, and then we'll see how we go. So, okay, we are going to, I'm just going to undo the hang. And hopefully I don't get it into a big knot. So when you undo the hang, I always just put my hands in it and I kind of pull it to the side a couple of times just to straighten out. And I'm just going to find the end and cut it And then I think we are good to unreel. There we go. I'm just going around. I'm not letting it off my hand, and I'm unreeling it so I don't get it knotted up. I'm just going to put it over my lamp because I have got long enough now in front of me. So we're not going to need we're going to need 3 threads. Or shall we do it over 4 and have a bit of a wider one? I'm going to do it over 4 because if you do 3, well, we could knot it onto it. So I'm gonna have 2 middle cords and 2 side cords. So, well, let's have a little experiment to make it bigger. So I'm gonna take, this is probably about 4 feet, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add both of the ends through that hole, and then as I'm pulling this through, before this loop disappears, I'm gonna put the ends through there. Now I'm gonna repeat this another time because we need a string going on this side and a string going on that side. And just brush these seed beads up out of the way. So I'm going to repeat that one more time, and then we're going to add, we still need to add more onto it. Oh, I got a little loop. There we go. Pulling this through. I don't want to get this knotted because you know what happens when you knot it up. It just goes. It just goes knotty, and then there is no way you can undo it. So I'm putting it all back over my lamp. Right, find the end, get another piece. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead, put the ends together. Now, you kind of like have to look at the direction because you don't want, so the loop, like, can you see one way is sitting that the loop is sort of behind the strands. If I turn it around, the loop is in front of the strands. So when you're doing when you're adding your next strand, which is going to going that way, then make sure that you're adding it the same way. So I went through front to back. So I'm going to go front to back with this one as well. That's just a little, before we pull the loop through, we need to pull the ends through the loop. So when we pull this up, both of the strands been secured on the same way. So can you see that? I think actually we got enough here to secure on the other two, and then we don't have to knot it at the base, which will be just look like a little bit tidier. So I'm just going to grab, so those ones, the ones I added, how much should I make them all the same size? 1, there we go, 2. So just a lot, we're gonna get started just in a sec. Just got a lot of strands in front of me. Right, there we go. If the hole is smaller on the pendant, then of course you got no choice but adding your next 2 loops or the next strand, because you need 3 strands. You either have 1 or 2 strands in the middle, and another 2, you need 2 strands for knotting, and then you can have at the core you can have 1 or 2 strands, or how many strands you want to make it fatter. But if the hole is not big enough, you would have to knot the next knot right onto the base, which is great. You can do that, but over time what can happen if your knots are not tight enough, then that knot, unless if you glue it down, can move up, and then you're just going to see a bit of strand, bit of naked strand without knots on it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to join the next 2, and I'm going to put it from front to back, but I will need to get through the other 2 as well. but I think it will be fine. So I'm gonna put it front to back. Come on, there we go, going through, and I'm gonna pull this through, and this time I'm gonna pull all 4 strands through. So I'm gonna, this is the 2 original which is already on there. I'm gonna, the one I just added, I'm gonna pull one to one side, the other one to other side, and then I'm gonna pull all 4 of them together. And when I pull this up nice and tight, this one, this as we join this on, is just gonna sit on top of that one. And then we got, like, very clearly, we got 2 in the middle, which is kind of sit together, and 2 at the back, and we're gonna start not with either one of those pairs. Now let me do this side as well. So kind of, you just, as you start off your threads, I think for me, like, things in little details, I really love to pay attention to little details. Right, so let's add it to this side as well. There we go. Hold on, I'm gonna grab, there is plenty of room there to put it through, but because the edge of it is quite soft, oh no, it went through, I just grabbed the tweezer. Right, pulling this through. So this is gonna be one side, pulling that to one side. I'm gonna get, I just complained about my knots, my getting my threads into knots, and I'm starting to get into all sorts of knots here. Right, okay, so pulling this through. There we go. So I'm gonna make sure the one is to one side, the original 2 will go in the middle, and the other one is to the other side. And before this loop disappears, I'm gonna pull all 4 strands to it. I'm gonna hold them together, and I'm gonna pull all 4 strands together. And when I tighten the sides up, then again we should just have a nice larger loop on there. Now what I'm gonna do, I am going to, I need to clip this to something, so I can have a little bit of pull on it, because with knotting I kind of like to, I cannot no, it's not I can no, not, oh gosh, the words are not coming out anymore. I like to knot in my hand because I'm quite quick if I'm knotting in my hand, but for that I need to clip the end product to something. So as I am knotting and pulling on this, it's kind of like secured there. Yeah, sure, we could like take a couple of needles and I could just spin it down here. Probably have to take more than one, but maybe it will work. Let's have a look. Yeah, actually that works. So just stuck some needle into my bead mat here. Let's do one more. There we go. So it's definitely not going to move. Now, do you use these clips quite a lot? Because if I do anything macrame, they're quite strong, and I can just clip this to, like, you know, side of a tablecloth or anything, and then it's really easy to knot. So what we're going to do, very easily, like, people, it doesn't matter if you're going under or over under, but as long as, like, different people will do the knots slightly differently, but it's going to come out the same way. So I'm going to have 2 in the middle. I'm going to have one on the right hand side, one on the left hand side for my original 4. So what we need to do, so virtually what we're doing, we are knotting one, we are making a normal knot just like that. But if you just made a knot like this, the knot doesn't include the middle strands here. So what we need to do, before we knot anything, one of the strands have to go over or under the middle strand, then come up on the other side, and then the other side will go under and over. So it doesn't matter if you go over this one and under that one, or if you start off going, I like to start going on under and then over. So I kind of like create this little fishy when I pull this up. So I went under the middle strand with the left hand side and over the right hand side, and then I'm just gonna take this and take it through the fish's mouth. There we go. Now if I wanted a square knot, then I would start on this side, but because we want the spiral, we're gonna keep going from the right hand side. So I'm just gonna take it under and over, then pull the other side through. And can you see the middle strands are in between my knot? And that's how they just stay there. The knot is always staying on this middle strand. Now I'm going to keep knotting this way. I'm going to do a few more knots, and then you can see how this is going to, it's already started to twist because I'm always going from one side. Now I can speed up with this, and if I'm doing anything like I want to get done quick, and this is a perfect thing, like something like this I can take down, I'll take anywhere with me really. Just make sure keeping that straight and pulling it nice and tight. And can you see it's already started to twist? So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and then, so if it was a normal bracelet we would be doing, we would just kind of like the bracelet would twist with it, but because we got the pendant, which is very rigid, what we have to do when it's slightly twisted halfway, I'm going to turn this around, and I'm still knotting the same way. Can I just stick these back in? Oh, there we go. I'm still not going to be knotting the same way, but just turn my pendant around. So now again my left is at the left, because every single time when we knot, the knot slightly moves around. It's going to be twisted all the way. Any questions on this? I don't know, I probably butchered this and didn't really say it right, but I haven't done macrame for quite a long time, so this is actually really nice. Macrame is so relaxing. Lorna is saying, if the hole in the cat's eye beads is big enough, you could macrame around them along the chain, if that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing what you could do as well, you could get a piece of wire, like maybe a 1mm wire, and then you could make a loop on top and bottom, and then add the macrame, like a wrapped loop I would do. Again, we almost, can you see like this is sort of moving around? So again, I'm going to twist it around. And the other strand, can you see how much is twisting already? It's going to look good. I'm just going to keep on going, like with one side. We need to find something better solution than those needles, because it's going to be annoying, like having to pick the heart up all the time. Now the only thing with macrame I find, you kind of have to have the same kind of tension to have nice, well, it's like with anything, crocheting or knitting, like you have to have the same kind of tension all the way through, so you have got equal amount of knots. Right, so I'm going to keep on going on one side. I'm going to do maybe another 1/2 inch. Oh, hold on. See, that knot just came undone underneath it, so I'm going to pull this one back a little bit and then pull this tight, then pull the next one tight. Don't be afraid to pull it back and adjust your knot if you need to, because you don't want a hole in your macrame. But very quickly, it grows quite quickly. Right, so this is how we would do the top part. It is turning around that time. So now, there we go, turning it around again. Have to come up with a better solution than that, but it will do for now. So there we go, under and over. I quite like it. I am quite a knotter, so my one is going to twist quite a bit. If you're a loose knotter, then the twists are going to be sort of less twisted. It's going to be like sort of a longer twist. But quite quickly, you can go quite far up. Now, the other thing what you could do, you don't have to have macrame all the way through. And I do love when we do like combine different techniques, because it just gives that little bit of interest in it. But then I could do maybe 3-4 inches of macrame, and then I could just add beads going through the rest of the bag. I could knot this end off and sew a thread to it and a clasp to it, or toggle, or whatever I want to do. Or if I want, I can go all the way with the macrame. It's really up to you. Right, I'm just going to stop there and just pull this up because it needs turning anyway. But what I really want to have a go at and show you is to how to add things at the bottom. So I think we kind of get it. Now, what I would suggest, can you see how nice is that turning? Let me just bring it in. How nice is that turning? Now, what I would suggest and what I would do personally is, so you see on one side, we always started with the left. And on the other side, I want you to always start with the right, because what's that's going to do, the spiral on this side then going to spiral the other way around, and you're going to have this nice sort of look to your pendant. Now let's have a look how we can add some bits to the bottom, because like you know this how to do this now. I'm not going to sit here for the next 2 hours, and I don't want to bore you with my knotting, so you kind of like get that thread. Now let's add some bits and pieces to the bottom. So I would do kind of like pretty much the same thing. So I'm gonna just with shorter length. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna, this is maybe 8 inches, and I'm gonna stick this through any hole at the bottom here. I could make some sort of round loop if I wanted to, and then add more bits onto that one, but I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add this through that hole. What did I do with my tweezer? It was right in front of me. Oh, there we go. If you struggle, because usually, like, you know, if you want to add beads onto things, you want to add the dipped end into glue, but I don't think that's necessary, because you can just get a tweezer and help it through with a tweezer. Make sure you're holding the ends together and just push it through, or just push one through and then get the other end and push that end through as well, or a needle. Now another technique you could do, and I'm going to show you just this in a sec. So I pulled it through. I'm not going to let that loop to close up, but I want to have the ends kind of like the same as same length, and then again you're going to come through that loop. So again we went from front to back like at the top. So that's one way to adding, and we could add so much more. Now if you find it that you, have I still got to my needle threaded? If you find it that there's not much space there, or it's harder to pull through. Now what we can do is to make a syringe. So I'm gonna take a piece of thread. I am going to put it through a needle, so we got a nice pointy end. Now this is not going to be very long. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a knot, maybe about 3 inches down, and that's all we need to pull. Just make sure pull that tight, and I'm going to cut the rest of the thread off. That's all we need. So if you're having struggle getting your little, well, then I need another length through, then this is what you could do. So I'm going to open up the thread, I think it's called syringe, but I might, let me know if you know, and probably this is too big. I'm going to open up my thread. I am going to take the end of my rat tail through it, and then quite simply I'm just going to go into the same hole with my needle and pull this through. And now I'm pulling from the middle, and see how easy it is to pull that through. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull the ends in and pull this up nice and tight. Now of course your thread is trapped in there, so I'm going to cut it off right by the knot, rescue my thread which is already threaded, and then add another knot just a little bit further up, and I'm going to repeat the process over and over again. So start with you don't need a very long thread, but start with a few inches of thread, and then if I pull this up nice and tight, they're going to sit side by side, and I'm ready to add the next. So there's loads of different ways how you can add the rat tail through those little holes. So let's add another one on top of it, because that hole, like, it's kind of like the same, bit smaller than this size hole, but we can add quite a few on top, or even like you little tiny hole next door, we can add one there in there as well. There we go. Let's cut this off first, and then I'm just gonna loop it through. So how's that? Does this make sense? I hope it makes sense. Adding things onto things, that to making a syringe like that, it really helps. It really takes the frustration off. Like wire needle thread. There you could do that as well. Now the other thing we could use is just a piece of wire. So probably about 0.4, should I 0.4, maybe too thin, 0.5, but that's it, that's with needle and thread. Now other way to get it through it, or a piece of tiger tail will do. Oh, I got two hands, I'm looking at like a rat here. They were in the cupboard. Anything which is a bit more of a stiff end, that's what you need. A bit more of a harder end. Right, color remain wire, I've got some here. So I'm just grabbing this. Now, if you got wire, then your job is even easier, because you're going to do exactly the same thing, just with a piece of wire. And if you have got a wire or a tiger tail, I'm going to fold this in half. You don't even have to cut it like you need to cut the thread. So again, let's take, oh, where is my end gone? There we go. Let's take more of this. I'm going to take another length. Now this time I'm just going to add it in between the wire, and then I'm going to take the wire, put the two front ends together and poke it through. Now the difference doing it this way or doing it that way, the wire is not as thin as the needle, so you might not be able to pull it through. And then I will open up the wire and remove it, like, or if the tiger tail kinks, it will be harder to pull it through smaller holes. So although threading your needle and doing it that way, it might be a little bit of a pain, but it could be like better as well. So I don't know how much more we want to add to this, but you could add as many as you wanted to, like sort of little, we need one in the middle, and I think we need another one at least here. You could knot them together. So there's a couple of other things you could do here to secure them on, is to either knot, like just add one knot in between the neighboring ones, or add a tiny bit of glue. I wouldn't add it at the front. I would turn it around and just add a tiny bit of glue to secure on. Probably glue is the easiest, for me it would be the easiest way and the simplest way to add it. But if you're adding glue, add it with a cocktail stick, or anything like, you know, a very old needle what you don't use anymore. Just you only need a tiny bit so it doesn't come off. And then we're going to be adding beads onto the end. Now all sorts of beads you could use. Probably you need larger beads with larger holes. Let's have a look. I think we might get away with these crystals. They might be able to go on. And size 6 I think definitely will go on as well. So you could do a few different, you could add a few, or if you wanted to, you could knot some of the little charms on there as well, which is in the, or even some of these hearts could even add more hearts to it. Hearts on the hearts. Let's have a look at these crystals. They have quite a nice size hole as well. So let's see. They might go through. So if you needed to, because like, can you see the hole is kind of like a millimeter, and this one is definitely not gonna kind of go through. So you could kind of sling it for those if it's smaller, or you are gonna have to add a tiny bit of glue or nail varnish. I see if I got, no, I think Lucy borrowed it. Oh no, I got one. I'm just gonna add nail varnish to one, and then while that dries, we try the other ones. So when you're adding nail varnish, what I usually do is to get a plastic bag, and then I put the nail varnish onto the end of my rat tail here, just like that. Now, why we adding the nail varnish? So the nail varnish is going to harden the end of the rat tail, and it's going to make it like a needle-like structure, I guess. However, if I just let this dry, it's still quite flat. Like if I look at it from the top, and quite wide. I mean, we'll be able to like turn it into a point, but it can be quite flat. So what I usually do, I just hold it in between two bags because I don't want to get it on my hand, and I just roll it around a little bit to make it more kind of like roundy in shape, and then I just leave that to dry. And then we can get the bead on it easier. So if the bead hole is bigger, which is bigger in this one, they got a little heart there as well, then they most probably, they would just go through and go on there. And then I would just add, probably I'm going to add more than that. Let's try these crystals as well. You just want to add a few beads at the bottom to weigh your little tassels down, and then you could decide how long you want to make these tassels. You could make them as long as you want to. No, this one's not going to go through, so I would have to harden all of them to be able to get anything other than the size 6, because the size 6 has got probably about a 2mm hole in them. But what we could do is don't worry about any of the other beads and just add the size 6 at the bottom. So there's loads of options you could do. Loads of options. If I added maybe, I don't know, 5-6 beads per strand of these size 6, maybe that would look really good. Let's add one more. There we go. And all I would do is just put a knot on the end of the strand, just like that. Just a normal little knot. There we go. And then Again, you could add a dash of little nail varnish just in sort of the point of that knot, and then trim the end. And because we added the knot on there, the beads are not going to fall off. And then you're going to go along and you're going to add it to every single one of those. So you have, and what I love about when I have a tassel like that it makes sort of like a jingly sound when you walk around. I love it. I love it bracelets. It's like I love charm bracelets. But if I got a charm bracelet on, I am the most annoying person in the warehouse, and they all knew it. They all knew that if I'm wearing a charm bracelet, that's it, because I would go around and I just do this, just sort of jingle them, just to play with them. There we go. And I'm adding a knot onto this one. And now we got another one with the beads at the end. Now, what I would do, I wouldn't quite make them the same length. I would make some of them shorter, some of them longer, so you kind of have got a nice flow to it. Right, my lovelies, I'm gonna love you and leave you tonight because I'm feeling really low on energy now. I need to make sure Christopher is back home today, so I need to make sure that he has a shower and he washes his hair as well. And I'll be back next Sunday, hopefully with a bit more energy then. So let me know what shall we make next week, or what shall we do next week. Let me know if we got so many love. I really want to do something with these ones, these hearts, definitely. We did this one tonight. We played with little macrame. We did this one. I'm gonna hunt the warehouse what we can what we can add that one to it, because it was so easy but it was so effective. Thank you so much for spending the time with me tonight. I really love you and appreciate you, every single one of you. We got just such a nice community here. I really do love it. And I love spending time with you all. So everybody have a beautiful week. Natalie is going to be with you on tomorrow on Totally Beads. I'll be with you on Wednesday. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. Look, Wednesday I finished the black ones. Those of you ladies who were in the bead club, we're going to be doing some beautiful. We got some new rivolis. Oh, I can't not show it to you because they look really nice. So that's what I will be doing on a Wednesday. So these rivolis, they're like two colors, two tones. So they're more see-through at the top. Can you see it? And then they get blacker at the bottom. And I haven't got any black earrings really, so I was so happy to do the black ones, but that will be on Wednesday. Oh, Ruth is saying hit the like button. I always forget to say it. Please do. It really helps the channel out. And I'll be back here next Sunday with you. So everybody have a beautiful week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye everybody.